What is up, woke family? It's your boy Wokey Bucks, and I'm back again with another live stream. So the topic that I'll be discussing this live stream today is in regards to Kevin Samuels speaking with Nicki Minaj on why black men date white women more than black women. The one thing you have to understand is that we're living in this society now where things are changing because of societal standards changing. Let me repeat that again. Things are changing because societal standards are changing, right? We live in a society now where, when it comes to the dynamics of black men and black women, the average black woman does not see the average black man as somebody that she feels like she wants to be with long term. So, what does she end up doing? She ends up complaining, saying that, oh, black men don't want black women anymore, even though she will be the first person to try to give the black man a reason on why he does not want to be with her. But she's trying to rub her money, the money she makes, in his face, or trying to use little things like being strong and independent, right, to chase the man away. Because the thing is that these are all records that will help a woman look more attractive to herself or look more attractive to herself. But if you ask the average man whether he cares about whether a woman makes more money or makes her own money, whether she's strong and independent, they don't care, right? But it's majority black women that are propagating this agenda to move towards the strong and independent, that I don't need a man, that ends are, you know what? You know what I'm saying? You've heard all of it, or majority of it. And this is the reason why a lot of black men turn to white women or turn to Asian women, right? Because the thing is that these are women that are going to be cultivated more within the traditional standards of being submissive, being feminine, right? And that's not to say that all black men don't want black women. If anything, there's a decent amount of black men out there that do desire black women, but the reality is that a lot of black women don't desire the majority of black men. On top of what I've mentioned previously, another main reason is because if you did not grow up being known as like a thug or a gangster or a hood dude or a street dude, the average black woman is not turned on by you. You're not seen as sexually attractive to her. Therefore, the average black man, right, is going to put himself in a situation where he's going to be seen as desirable to another person who actually is going to accept him for the way he is, instead of trying to fit a persona that does not fit him, right? And that's the reality of the situation. So if we get back into the situation with Kevin Samuels and Nicki Minaj, right? There's a situation that Kevin Samuels obviously spoke with Nicki Minaj. She first started off by asking him to rate her on a scale of 1 to 10. But he told her that that's not what he does, that he has the woman rate herself, right? And he told her to not give herself a 7. But what did she do? She ended up giving herself a 7, right? So that's a part of it. The main reason why black men don't deal with black women, or black men that feel like they're being disrespected by black women tend to leave. Because the thing is that black women from a young age were not taught on the principles of how to actually take care of a man. And when I say black women, I'm talking about African American women that were raised here in the United States or Canada or anywhere in the West, right? If you're an African who was born and raised in Africa, or even born and raised in America with two African parents, or even one that was strict, you're excluded from this conversation. Or if you're a Jamaican that was born in Caribbean people, Jamaican people that were born in America, and you were raised by Jamaican parents, strict Jamaican parents. I'm not talking about the loose ones. I'm talking about the strict ones. You're excluded, right? Then this applies to you. But if not, this does not apply to you. Within that situation, you have to understand that at the end of the day, this is why the average black man does not want to deal with black women, right? Not saying that there's not a decent percentage of black men that don't want to deal with black women. Kevin Samuels actually gave a statistic on his podcast saying that I believe about 85% of black women or black men want to deal with black women. But he didn't talk about whether they do or whether they don't. He's just talking about whether they do. Well, he's not talking, or not whether they do, my bad. He's just talking about what they desire. You feel what I'm saying? He's saying that 85% of black men desire to be with black women, but he doesn't talk about whether it actually happens or not. And the reality of the situation is that it's probably a lower percentage. Why? Because the thing is that when it comes to a black woman dating outside of her race, you don't see a group of black men coming together and criticizing it. But when it's the opposite way, it's a problem. And it's not only in regards to black men and black women. It's just a society we live in. It's very, very, it was built upon double standards in the sense that if a woman does something, majority of the time, she's seen as a saint. She's seen as a good person. But if the man were to do the exact same thing, he's evil. He's the devil. He's bad. He's a villain. He's a vampire. He's a wizard. You understand? And that's really, really bad, because the thing is that now it starts to cause people to start developing inferiority complexes, egos, right, are shown. They become a lot more prideful, and all of these things that didn't need to be there originally are now starting to surface and show themselves. So the reality of the situation is that, to answer Nicki Minaj's question, right, the reason why she believes a lot of black men are not dealing with black women is because a lot of black women are not taught how to be feminine and submissive. And that's not to say that other races aren't as well too, but it's highly prevalent within the black community. You will see the average black woman trying to challenge her man, if she even has a man, right? And then the thing is that you also see it in the marriage rates, right? In the black community, right? In the black community, right? The black community has a marriage rate, especially when it comes to women, at 27%. While if you look at the reverse, when it comes to the single motherhood rate, it's at 75%, roughly 75%, ever since the 60s, the 1960s. So that shows you that in the black community, it's not encouraged for black people to get married. It's encouraged for them to smoke. It's encouraged for them to drink. It's encouraged for them to have kids out of wedlock. And it's encouraged for them to be on the hub and OnlyFans, right? And then when other races don't take us seriously, or don't take black people in general seriously, and don't take, you understand, you get mad, and you get angry, and you have to see the reality of the situation. Perception is key in almost everything you do in this life, according to the reality you live in. The way people perceive you is the way people are going to treat you majority of the time. When you're portraying yourself to be a certain way, that's exactly how people are going to treat you, right? It's up to you to be able to change the standard. Let me repeat that again. It's up to you to be able to change the standard, because the reality of the situation is that the world does not owe you understanding. You as an individual, you as a black woman, you as a black man, you as whoever, the world does not owe you understanding. So it's completely up to you to be able to change that narrative. That narrative is not going to be changed if you're just complaining and staying the same. You have to make improvements in order to be able to see improvements happen, right? You have to make changes in order to be able to see those improvements flourish. But a lot of people would rather complain, right? A lot of people would rather complain. That's the world we live in, right? So the situation, that is exactly why. Because of the combativeness, because of not knowing how to cook, not knowing how to clean, not being submissive to your man, and not being your man's peace. And then when he leaves to another race, you complain. Instead of complaining after it happens, accept the fact that there are certain things that you did to be able to wrong that man, and acknowledge that you're prideful and you need to humble yourself so you can be able to keep him long, right? In the black community, relationships are not really encouraged, at least according to what Kevin Samuels was saying, and I agree with him. And relationships are not really speaking on boyfriend and girlfriend, because if you really sit down and think about it, you're either single or you're married. You think that just because you're in a relationship with somebody, girlfriend and boyfriend, that person can't cheat on you, or that you can't cheat on that person, right? And I'm not saying that it can't happen with married people as well too. But when you're married, obviously you're signing a covenant with God. But even with that being said, man, you have to understand that before you eventually end up getting into a relationship with somebody, you have to properly vet out that person to be able to see where their mentality is, where their spirituality is, where their physicality is, where their emotionality is, and so on and so forth, where they are financially too. So there's so many factors when it comes to vetting out a partner. But the thing you have to understand is that you need to become the best catch in order for your partner to take you seriously and for you to be in a successful relationship, and vice versa. Because if you're not, you're only wasting your time and you're wasting your partner's time. So the goal here is to put yourself in the best situation that you can possibly put yourself into in order to be able to yield the maximum effort. It's not going to happen if you just want it to happen. You have to put in the effort, right? Do what it takes on a daily basis in order to become the greatest version of yourself. Let the situation regarding Kevin Samuels and Nicki Minaj teach men and women that you need to self-improve in every aspect of your life in order to be able to really get what you want. Because when you self-improve, what you really want is going to come to you. If you understand this, because you're woke. If you don't understand, you're not woke. This is going to be in this live stream. If you like this live stream, make sure you go spam that like button, leave comments, share this live stream with your friends, subscribe to the channel at Wokey Bucks, WOKEEBUKS. Tap the notification bell to get all the latest videos that I post. Patreon link will be down in the description below, and so will social media links. So make sure you go give those a check. But without further ado, this is going to be in this live stream. This is Wokey Bucks, and I'm out, man.